Hey guys, and welcome back to another model review with me, Commander Wolfman. So guys, we are done with the first of the three missile-guided warships in this little collection that I've been showing you guys off for the last couple of weeks. So USS Boston, USS Curry Truck are coming along very well. Stand by for the next update, which will be next Wednesday. Because definitely we'll have a lot to talk about on that particular week, because there's actually a lot of progress that's been done with these ships. So yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the ship in question today. So USS Nautilus 571, well SSN-571. In case you wonder what that SSN means, it means submarine submersible nuclear, I believe. Something along the lines of that. Anyway, the point is, she's nuclear powered. Yeah, let's just put it that way. Nautilus is quite special, guys. Now, I bet you all thinking, Nautilus special? Wolf, why is she special? What makes this ship absolutely special, and why is she something that we should be listening and talking about? Well, to put it quite simply, she's the very first nuclear powered submarine in the world at the time. The very, very first, guys, literally. Yes, HMS Dreadnought did come along the way a few years later, I think in 1960, I do believe. And then obviously the Russians built their first nuclear sub soon after that. But yeah, the US Navy led the way when it comes to nuclear power submarines, and Nautilus was the very, very first one to be built. So, let's get into the nooks and crannies of her and give you guys a brief, and I do mean a brief, service career, because I don't know much about this ship, and no matter what I seem to find out on her, there isn't much I can speak about. However, the bits I can speak about, let's talk about the general parts about the ship as she is. So Nautilus is actually not named after anything in particular, but she is named after Jules Verne's submarine Nautilus in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Now, I know some of you might have heard that name, and if you read the book, then you know how much of a good book it is. I personally have read it back well, a long time ago now. But I've also watched the classic Disney film with, oh God, I forgot his guy's name now. Quite a famous actor, actually there's quite a few famous actors in the film, and it's a really, really good film. Anyway, we're not here talking about the film. The submarine in question is named after the submarine in the book and also in the film, and well, actually there's been a couple of films where the name Nautilus has been used. Anyway, she was awarded on the 2nd of August 1951, and her builder was General Dynamics. So, Electric Boat, I do believe is what they were called. And they built well over 3 to 350 odd submarines prior to Nautilus, so they knew exactly what they were dealing with. Nautilus, however, was special because she's the first nuclear powered one. She was laid down on the 14th of June 1952, and then she was launched on the 21st of January 1954. She was sponsored by Marina Eisenhower, which was the first lady of President Eisenhower, or should we say Dwight D. Eisenhower, the man that we all know. Anyway, she was completed on the 22nd of April 1955, and then fully commissioned into the US Navy on the 30th of September 1954. She lasted a very long time. Nautilus went through the 50s, 60s, 70s, all the way up to the 80s. And then obviously on the 1st of March, on the 3rd of March 1980, she was decommissioned. Now, at first, I actually didn't realise this ship was still with us. I actually thought she was long gone, scrapped, you know. And it turns out she's actually museum still, so she's out there if you guys want to go and see her. And yeah, I mean, if I could, I would go and see the ship. It's quite interesting. So Nautilus displacement is 3,533 tonnes, so fully loaded she is 4,092 tonnes. She has a full length of 320 feet, or 97.5 metres, a beam of 28 feet, or 8.5 metres, and a draft of 26 feet, 7.9 metres. She had an installed propulsion power of 13,400 HP, and a whopping 10,000 kilowatts of power, and this was all produced by an STR nuclear reactor, and this was this also generated the power to 2 shafts, and her top speed was, get this, in kilometers, She was 26 miles per hour, which is 23 knots. For a sub this size, that's quite fast, seriously. And, you know, there's no brake to her because it's nuclear powered, so she can go on and on and on. There's no stopping for this one. She had a complement of 92 enlisted men and 13 officers, and she was armed with only 6 torpedoes mounted all in the bow there. So quite a deadly looking warship. So yeah, when it comes down to the historical side of Nautilus, guys, don't quote me. I don't know enough about the ship to give you guys a full in-depth thing on her. But if anyone's served aboard Nautilus or they know a bit more than I do, feel free to share in the comment box below. But I can say this: Nautilus did travel to the Antarctic, I do believe, and did a exploration there of some sort. And she did lots of tests to prove her nuclear power capabilities. She did lots of diving tests, power output tests, basically stuff to see how far the nuclear reactor could go before it would get dangerous, which luckily nothing severe really happened to Nautilus as far as I know. And yeah, as I say, she survived up to 1980, then decommissioned, and soon after became a museum ship for all to see today. So yeah, good on the United States. You kept the very first one around, and it's just quite incredible, really. So you guys know me pretty well. I don't really bother much with submarines or aircraft carriers, but again, considering what this little collection came with, I said to myself, well, Baz, let's make an exception, because this is not exactly the typical warship you get. This isn't the most typical thing you get when it comes to model kits, and certainly right. I don't know of a model kit that I've built before which had a nuclear power to it. So yeah, this is the first. So let's talk about the model, and I'll give you guys my, well, best I can when it comes to a review of this sort of thing. I mean, obviously you guys know me. I do work with all sorts of model kits. Some are old, some are new. Now, this one in particular is quite old. I do believe, and I may be getting this a bit back to front, guys, and I do apologise, but Revell built all 3 of these ships separately at one point or time and the other during the late 60s, I do believe. And I do believe the one I've got on my hands here is actually the late 60s variant of that model kit of Nautilus. She's 1/500 in scale, so the same size as Boston, same size as Curry Truck. Yeah, so she's the same scale and size of that sort of thing. If I was to measure this against a German U-boat or 1/350 scale, that thing would be tiny compared to Nautilus. So a 1/350 in Nautilus would be huge. I mean, technically, she definitely would be a big ship because nuclear power and obviously a very, very modern submarine for the time. So yeah, not a tiny ship at all. The things I didn't like. So I did my research, and it turns out the Nautilus did not do anything that this box is representing. So I have no idea where Revell went with this. If you guys know a bit more than I do, then feel free to share. But from what I've been able to find out, she never carried any of that sort of equipment. So she never test fired any missiles. She only had one set of weaponry, which was the torpedo tubes in the front, and that's basically about it for her, really. So what I've done is I took both of the bits off. As you guys saw, they were both on the last time you saw the Nautilus. So I completely took them off, filled in the gaps, and it looks like as if nothing was there to start with. And yeah, so she looks like how she should be looking today. The obviously assembling of the kit, I mean, she's not a bad model kit. As you guys can see, these are the plans, well, sort of the plans for Nautilus. Obviously someone did a photocopy of these, so I had to copy and follow what I could do with the model kit. So basically what you see there though on that page is pretty much the entirety of building Nautilus. So both sides of the hull went together well, the conning tower went on well, the torpedo tube bay went in there well, the sails went on well, the stand isn't bad. As a matter of fact, she's quite sturdy on that little stand, so it's a very good little stand there. I haven't glued it to the stand in case you guys are wondering, because I don't do stuff like that. If you want to have a good look at the model kit, you want to look at it without the stand attached, although she's a submarine, so she hasn't got much to hide at the bottom. And yeah, so that's basically all those bits and pieces. So let's talk a bit about the paint job and all those bits in question. So I had three choices. I could either choose to paint Nautilus up in a complete black scheme, like she looks like in the as a museum as she is today, or I could paint her up in a slightly light greyish blue scheme, so she looked like a submarine just prior to World War II being done. Or I could paint her up in a scheme which is similar to what's on the box, and that's kind of what I wanted to do with Nautilus, so that's pretty much what I went with. So, just to put the box away for now, because I just wanted to get it out for a reference here, guys. We'll be referencing all three of these models with that box as the reviews come around. So the paints I use for Nautilus is Shining Silver for all the silver parts. So that does include some of the periscopes and equipment there. The stand in the middle there is a Shining Silver. I used Greedy Gold for the propellers because the Greedy Gold was the only sort of colour I had for that sort of propeller. The propellers in question are probably anything I don't like about this model kit, because I mean you guys can see they're a little how do I put this? Well, ugly, a little ugly and old. But again, it's an older model kit, so I'm not really going to dig into the ugliness of certain bits and pieces to do with this kit. She's a classic, and obviously she does look like the Nautilus as it is, so I'm not overly too upset with that particular component. Anyway, so that's Greedy Gold. The bottom of the ship I painted in matte black 33, and then the top of her I painted in this colour, which is that particular colour grey. Decals all attached, so all the decals there, that's basically what it came with. Used a bit of red and green for the port and starboard lights, orc green, and I think it was crimson red from the cathedral colour, so the same as that bottle there. That's where those two greens came from. And what else did I use? Oh yes, and a wash. So obviously I wanted to make Nautilus like she's been used quite a bit, so I gave her a light wash to start with in all those little holes along the side there. I think this is where the water tanks, for making her submerge and obviously surfacing, is where that all works. So basically filled it in with some null oil wash first, then applied another wash on top of that, then dabbed it with a kitchen towel, and yeah, that's basically the results of the kit as a whole here, really. So, do I recommend getting Nautilus, or do I not recommend getting Nautilus? I hear you guys ask. If you can get your hands on this model kit, guys, and you are looking to get the very first submarine that was nuclear powered ever in the world, I do recommend it. Again, it's not a bad size model kit. She's quite good with the detail for her age, and like I said, she went together like a charm. There's a lot to work with. I mean, there's things you could definitely upgrade if you wanted to. I'm pretty sure you could get some propellers to replace those things at the back. You probably could get better periscopes if you're really clever enough to do that. Maybe some doors for the torpedo tubes, because again, this model doesn't come with torpedo tubes on the front of the doors. As you can see, they're quite literally opened up to the sea. So the thing is though, another reason why they've done that is because if you look at the plans, this model does come with 6 torpedoes that you can actually stick in the tubes to look like as if they're about to fire, or you can make them look like as if they have been fired all at once, sort of thing. But I decided not to add them because I didn't really want to do that sort of thing with Nautilus, so I left them out, and that's basically how we got things going on there. But like I say, yes, I do recommend this model kit, guys, if you are looking to get her. Just keep an eye on eBay. Again, I do believe it's 1/500 in scale, so not too big, not too small, and yeah, not a bad model kit as a whole. So obviously, quick disclaimer for everybody, this will probably be the very last time I build a submarine, but I do have my doubts from time to time, as you know. If I'm trying to get my hands on a particular kit in the foreseeable future and it happens to come with a submarine or an aircraft carrier or something like that, then obviously I will build and paint it and review it, because that's how I just roll with model kits, as we all know. Anyway guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this model review, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Warship Wednesday, which will be an update on Curry Truck and the Boston. Maybe one or two other things, but let's just see how we go. Anyway guys, have a nice weekend, have a nice weekend, look after yourselves and take care. Ta-ta for now.